Vampers, and welcome back to my little van life channel. Well, today we're going out for a walk in nature. Now before you start thinking, oh no, not again, another walk in the woods or the forest, this one's got a slight twist to it, because this is more urbanised nature. What I mean by that is that you can see a lot of the influence of man on this walk. If you're new to my channel, my name is Neil, and welcome. I'm 62 years old and I live full time in my camper van, and I go out exploring, trying to find new adventures, quite often out in nature. So like I say, today's another walk in nature with a slight twist. I'll let the video speak for itself, and if you enjoy it, give me a thumbs up, put as many comments as you like on, and if you haven't subscribed and you feel like subscribing, give it a go and see what other adventures I get up to. So let's go. In the colder winter months, there isn't a great deal that you can do. Still try and get out as much as I can, rather than sitting in the van. Anytime it's not raining, it's a good excuse to get out. But there's not as many places you can go when it's really bad weather. A lot of places get really muddy, you get covered in mud, the van gets covered in mud, gets a bit messy. Now this trail's not so bad because it's tarmacked, so even in the middle of winter, apart from when it's icy, it's still a good place for a walk. Really popular with the dog walkers around here. And I must admit, the colours of the trees at this time of year, yeah, beautiful. I'm actually on the Trans-Pennine Trail. That's a long, long trail to walk from one end to the other. Or cycle, which I did a few years ago. Cycle camping. What an experience that was. It's only about 260 miles, something like that. And places to camp along the way. Wild camping, even though we're not supposed to wild camp in England. There's some places you can hide away. I mean, this whole area of South Yorkshire, I can't big it up enough. I'm not that far from Barnsley, and this was the whole area, industrial area. And yet there's so much nature here, so much greenery. Always somewhere to go for a walk. I mean, the area's not being overpopulated. I mean, Barnsley's quite a smallish town really, and then it has its surrounding areas. The urban area isn't that big compared to the countryside which is all around it. Surprisingly, I'm only about 20 minutes, 15 minutes away from the M1. As I say, I'm not that far from the M1. I think it's probably the busiest motorway in England. And all these lorries going backwards and forwards to help maintain our way of life. Let's continue on this pathway. Well, I found this little offshoot from the main pathway. It seems to be taking me towards some water. Yes, I'm following this little path and I can see some water just round the corner. Have a closer look. Well, it's typical. Water attracts the ducks, doesn't it? Oh, when I said a bit of water, I think I underestimated it. So that's quite a large expanse of water. Well, that's not something you see every day. All these birds lined up. I wonder what they're waiting for. Quite a few benches have been put around on this walkway, this pathway. Well, that's a nice little feature. A hand-carved wooden bench. Something to do with milling. Oh, it's a mill song. Some saying, or a song they used to sing when they were milling the grain. It's a big old piece of wood. As I said earlier, the colours, stunning. The whole mixture of colour. It's amazing how when the seasons change, the picture changes. If you know what I mean. All these trees will look different in the summer months. What an odd looking tree. Nature's sculpture at its finest. Well, this looks like some sort of ceremonial setting. All these little stumps to sit on, and like a homemade tent, teepee in the middle. Maybe it's something to do with the schools when they come walking around here. But then again, it could be something mysterious. Let me know in the comments what you think this could be. Yeah, and it's fenced in. Slightly as well. Yeah, strange. That's a strange bit. Well, this seems to be a bit of a marshland. Yeah, marshland. We've got water here. Yeah, don't step off the path. I think you'd sink. Seems the local authority has built a wooden trail going through this wetland. This is a good way to see it without getting your feet wet. I might have mentioned previously that whenever you go out for a walk in nature, find something new or different. And today is another prime example. I'm walking through a wetland near a large reservoir. I possibly came here when I was a child. I vaguely remember a school trip coming here. I might have been about 6, maybe 7. They all walked around with clipboards and trying to spot different animals and identify the different trees. The sort of thing you do on a school trip. Yeah, that's a distant memory, that is. Over 55 years ago. I vaguely do remember it. How strange is that? I sometimes can't remember what happened 3 weeks ago. And yet I can remember something fairly clearly from over 50 years ago. Maybe that's just a sign of aging. Yes, I have heard people talk about that. Is that as you get older, short-term memory seems to diminish. Long-term memory seems to stay the same. Let me know in the comments if you experienced a similar type of thing. Can you remember what happened 4 weeks ago? Better than what happened 50 years ago? Let me know. Well, it's the first litter bin and dog waste bin I've seen. It's quite a long way to walk to come and empty it for the council. But at least they put something there to encourage people to use it. That's when people actually do use it. Well, this does really annoy me. Your dog's made a mess. You're taking the time to get your plastic bag out and to pick up the mess, and then you stick it on a tree. Can you fathom that? What do you think about that? Let me know in the comments. Do you see this as often as I do? And do you get as annoyed as I do when people do this? Yeah, let me know in the comments. We've got a stone-built bridge over the pathway. I think it's a roadway. It definitely built them to last in the old days. Just a shame that the graffiti artists have been here. Not very good ones as well. Yeah, I've seen some graffiti in some places, which is actually quite nice. But this sort of graffiti, no, not for me. That's quite an interesting footbridge, quite decorative as well. I'm under the impression that the trail I've been walking on today, Trans-Pennine Trail, was actually a train track back in the day. I mean, that's reminiscent of a railway structure, isn't it? So my presumption is probably correct. Sometimes at this time of year, it's a bit difficult to find new things to do. I mean, I'm quite lucky. I really enjoy walks in nature when the weather's nice. But a lot of people struggle in the winter months. So I would suggest, if you get the chance, go for a walk. Find somewhere out in nature. To spend a few hours just walking around and experiencing nature. It'll make you feel so much better. As long as it's not raining. Well, apparently there's a mill museum, shops and toilet down this way. And different types of trees. And I just caught sight of a squirrel. Well, there's quite a few squirrels in this area. Just seen another one. Yeah, I suppose these sort of trees would be ideal for the squirrels, for their habitat. Only nuts and berries and everything else in the area. And they've got water nearby, everything they would need. Just managed to capture a squirrel feeding itself. Doesn't come through very good on the camera. I mean, I've zoomed in as far as I can, but it looks a little bit blurry. Another interesting carving out of a big chunk of wood depicting the colliery mining industry. Well, this is a view of the water from the opposite side. Not quite as nice, given that we've got some housing on the hillside. Well, all in all, this has been quite a nice little walk. Well, I'm saying a little walk. So this little walk has turned into a bigger walk of about 8 miles. And it's a great way to pass the day when it's a nice enough day to get out of the van. I hope you enjoyed it as well. Let me know in the comments if you like walking out in nature as much as I do. Well, this seems like a great way to finish off the walk. I'll come to Miller's Cafe. A nice cup of tea, piece of cake. That'll be welcome after my slightly longer than expected walk.